amazingly, this is still on the theme of stabbing. So, I'm actually from Edinburgh, but I lived and worked in Dundee for 20 years. And when I told my friends in Edinburgh that I was moving to Dundee, their big advice was, look out for the Dundonian accent, it's very weird. And Dundee is the capital for stabbing with knives. Let's be very clear about that, because Glasgow is the capital of stabbing with every other single object with a point. Stanley knives, screwdrivers, the back bit of a hammer. Glaswegians will use anything spiky to stab you. Anyway, and then, amazingly, when I was an undergrad, I actually hung out in Glasgow quite regularly. I would go to clubs and so forth. One thing I learned, thankfully in time to not get hurt, was that in Glasgow you cannot point at anybody. Seems strange, I know. For some reason, Glaswegians take exception to this, because I saw some guy with a really funky Hawaiian shirt, and I wanted to point out to this girl that I was with, hey, that guy's wearing a funky shirt. So I was like, hey, look at that guy over there. And just as my arm was extending with a view to pointing, it was like a protect the president moment. She went, no! And whacked it down. I was like, what? Why? Why? You know? And it turns out, you cannot point at a person in Glasgow. If they catch you pointing, they're immediately going to fight you. It's like a fight to the death. So I was like, okay, so how do you point in Glasgow? Simple, use your elbows. Like, aren't they going to notice that? Some guy pointing their elbows, like, no, for some reason it's like a free pass. Okay, fair enough. So it's like, that guy, the Hawaiian shirt in the corner, him. And nobody thinks I'm doing the funky chicken. Everyone thinks, oh, it's just elbow pointing. That ain't no thing. As long as he's using his finger, it's like, whoa, look out, that's a registered finger. Anyway, another time I was in a club in Glasgow, and it was like many clubs in Glasgow, all the tables were bolted to the floor just in case anyone had a case of the Jerry Springers. So, and there was also a puddle on the floor, which I hope to goodness was beer, but goodness knows in Glasgow. Anyway, point was, I was walking on my way to the bathroom, and then suddenly my favorite tune came on, and I thought, oh my goodness, I have to dance to this. So I turn around and start running through the club against all medical advice. But then I feel my feet start going out from under me, and I'm tipping over to the side. And this all happened in a few seconds. So anyway, and then I'm tipping over to the side, and I realize, okay, if I hit the brakes, I'm just going to go boom, into the puddle of goodness knows what. So I think, okay, I'm just going to have to roll with this. Kept on going, and I was reaching the point of no return. And sure enough, whoop, my feet went out from under me. But as I fell, my head connected with the edge of a steel rimmed table. And it knocked me directly back onto my feet, and I continued running. I made it clear through the puddle back to dry ground to the dance floor and got my groove on. This may have been a few pounds ago. Anyway, point was, and I said no more about it. I mean, I went to the bathroom later, that's another story. Anyway, the next morning we're all nursing our hangovers over our bacon sandwiches, and I mentioned to my friend, oh, the side of my head is hurting, and he goes, why? And I tell, quick recap, previously on Andrew, give him that story I just told you, and he's like, that actually happened? Because as far as he was concerned, he looked towards me, saw me running towards him and go, and then continue running. And because the lighting in the club in Glasgow was kind of dark, he thought, I can't have seen that. I'm a few beers and I can't have seen that. So he didn't mention it, because he didn't want to sound like a madman. Anyway, so. But that very same guy, actually, another story about him is that basically one time he gave me the best birthday present ever. Nothing you can order from Amazon, nothing you can get from eBay or any high street store. Quick recap, there was a guy when I was an undergrad, and he hated me. For reasons, I'm a nice guy, I don't know why he hated me. Basically, he hated me because I got better grades than him, and this really got under his skin. And so, he stopped speaking to me. Hey, thank you. But anyway, the problem was, we had a mutual friend, so every party I went to, he would be there, hating on me. He's like, at me. And this, it puts a crimp on your evening, having some guy just absolutely shooting lasers at you out of his eyes. So, my bestest buddy, he went on over to him, sat down next to him in the booth, and that seems innocuous enough. But then, eventually, the guy thought he needed to go to the bathroom. So he said, excuse me, I need to go to the toilet. And my friend pretended to be hard of hearing. And he said, you want to boil it? Boil what? And he goes, what are you talking about? And it's like, you want to twist and shout? It's like, no, I'm going to smash your face in. Why do you want a basin? And the guy eventually the guy got so absolutely twisted up, he stormed out of the place in a furious rage and didn't come back. Now that's a personalised birthday present, if ever there was one. I got an evening free of that annoying dick. Anyway, how am I doing for time? Anybody? Okay, I have no idea. Oh, time's up. Well, thank you guys, you've been absolutely wonderful.
Andrew Ferenbach, ladies and gentlemen.